Hi, this is Mark, the Ballpark Hunter, and you're listening to the Ballpark Hunter podcast. With me today is my guest, co-host, whatever you want to call, Scooby McKay, based out of Chicago. And Scooby, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
All right. So, what part of Chicago are you from?
Western suburbs, so just outside of like O'Hare Airport.
Okay. Is that like Itasca, Rosemont? Is that close?
Currently living in Shop.
Oh, Schaumburg. Oh, yeah, I know Schaumburg. Yeah, that's my wife is from Hazel Crest, so she's south.
Okay, yeah.
And Schaumburg can be anywhere from 40 minutes to about an hour and a half, depending on traffic or if we bought our iToll with us. Because if we didn't, we have to wait in line. It's chaos. I actually bought the iToll. It helps me out big time up there in the suburbs. So, all right. Well, I made a call out on Twitter yesterday about having people come on, and I was just kind of curious who would say yes. And you were one of the first people. So I said, okay, let's do it. Can we meet tomorrow? So that's what brings us on today. So we're going to talk a little bit about some Chicago regional food. He's going to talk about the Diamondbacks. He talks about his love for the Indianapolis Colts and Pacers, or Indiana Pacers, and anything else Chicago, because there's a lot we can say. So first, born and raised in Chicago, most people know it as a place to get a deep dish pizza. What do you think is a better, like if somebody was coming from Chicago, coming to visit Chicago, and they said, I want to try a deep dish pizza, what would you say? No, put that off to the side. Try this regional food.
Um, I mean, honestly, you can't go wrong with pizza, but I would even just say go with a tavern style pizza.
Yes.
Um, Deep dish is good. It's great. It's yeah, sure. It's something like I said that tourists, outsiders come here for. But man, our tavern style thin crust pizza is phenomenal. Like I don't know why that gets overlooked, to be honest.
It does get overlooked, but my wife, that's what she likes. She likes a beggar's style pizza. That's like her favorite spot. I know it's a chain with crumbled sausage on it. Like she will eat that up. Deep dish, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of great places to get a tavern style, and you can get, the traditional toppings. Some have Italian beef on it. And from what I hear, it's quite more popular with the population compared to deep dish. Is that accurate to say?
Yeah, like I said, I think people that are coming into the area come more for the deep dish. But if you live out here, you pretty much just go for the tavern style. I'd say at least 75% of the time.
Okay. Now, do you have a go-to place, or would you travel far to go to a certain place?
Yeah. So I grew up in Lombard, which is a little further south, about
Oh
15
yeah.
20 minutes. There's a great spot in town that it's called Gianorio's. I think the guy is actually the mayor of the town now, but man, that their pizza, that's my go-to. My folks just moved away from there about a year ago, so they're a little further west. But even then, when they get the opportunity, they're like, "How can we make this work so we can get that and bring it back home?"
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's like me growing up in New Jersey. My mom moved about an hour south. So your favorite pizzerias were now an hour north. So you had to look for new places. And I remember that was a task. My brother would try all these different spots, and they never really found one they liked. So I'm with you there. I definitely understand. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, tavern style pizza. Don't be fooled. Go, and you can get these at Giannaro's, or I'm sorry, Giordano's or Lou Malnati's or Pizza Uno, maybe even Pequod's. Yeah, I like Pequod's a lot. I know that's a very kind of rundown little place, but they have that little tiny burnt crust on the edge. But yeah, tavern style pizza is great because you don't have to wait that long for it. When you're
Right.
waiting 45 minutes an hour for a deep dish, it's like you're hungry. You want to eat right now. So another benefit to tavern style. So good to hear. And getting back on food, Italian beef, fan or not? You like it juicy, wet, peppers?
Yeah, I'm soft. I'm not a big peppers guy, but
Mhm.
yeah, an Italian beef, get it juicy dipped, is good. The peppers looks good. It's just I know for me, I'm not a pepper guy. But
Okay. Yeah.
uh,
Yeah, and I get it. That's not your thing. That's not your thing. I was having a conversation with Adam Horvath, He's based out of New Jersey, where I'm from as well. And we were talking about the Italian beef, and he's like, yeah, how come this is not popular outside of Chicago? Why only in the Chicago area, maybe some spots outside, can you get an Italian beef? This should adapt well to any part of the country, kind of like the Philly cheesesteak does, kind of like buffalo wings. And you're
Yeah.
right. People have their spots. Everybody says Johnny's is the best. Some people like A1 or Al's roast beef. I don't know. I haven't found my spot yet, but I'd like to get to Johnny's because a few people said that's the quintessential place to get one.
Yeah, yeah, Johnny's is pretty good. Like I said, pretty well known. They don't do them there necessarily, but also a cheesy beef. I mean,
Oh yeah.
I'm a sucker for a cheesy beef.
Yeah, I've heard of the cheesy beef. I haven't and that sounds good too. I haven't had one of those. I know when I'm trying to think Bueno beef, they had something with the White Sox and the Cubs players, and
Yeah,
it's like choose your beef, and I
yeah.
thought that was kind of neat to have. So that's awesome to hear. And then another regional dish from Chicago that's on the south side. So if you go into a White Sox game, is called the Jim's Shoe Sandwich. Are you familiar with that, or still trying to figure
Uh,
out what that is?
that one's new to me.
Okay.
Again, I'm a suburban kid, so I
Yeah.
admit. Um, but yeah, I will if you can tell me about it. I'm interested. I
Yeah,
like my
you know, there's a place called Stony Island Sub, and it's one of these places on the south side where you have the bulletproof glass, and they have like the old bank teller swivel door, and you exchange your money for the food. But this sandwich is like as big, like it's huge, and you get it with fries and a soda. But it's Italian beef. It's pastrami, not pastrami, corned beef or pastrami, I forget, and gyro meat or gyro meat, and it's cooked on the griddle, served in a sub roll with cheese, lettuce, tomato, marinara, and white sauce or
okay.
tzatziki sauce, and it's this giant thing you shouldn't even be eating, but it's so good. And some places make it a little better than others. I usually get it without the cheese because they put on American cheese, which ruins it. So I try to get it without it. But yeah, it's something that I found out about just driving through that neighborhood going to a White Sox game. I'm like, Jim Shoe Sandwich, what the heck is that? So I stopped and tried it and said, man, this is good. Of course, I'm on a diet right now, so I'm trying to stay away from stuff like that. But yeah, the Jim Shoe Sandwich in Chicago. So, one thing I like about Chicago is the food, but I also like a lot of the stadiums and ballparks. Are you familiar with a lot of the minor league ballparks, the, Wrigley
Yeah.
Field, guaranteed rate? Uh, and I guess first, Wrigley Field or guaranteed rate, which one? The pros and cons about those two venues, which one do you prefer going to when you have a chance?
Um, so I still probably prefer Wrigley.
I can say.
Technically grew up, my dad was a big Cubs fan. But we just loved baseball, so we would go either one with the opportunity. Um, I just like the experience and history at Wrigley. It's been changing a little bit now that they're building up around the stadium, which is probably good things. Um, and you haven't lost too much of the nostalgia, despite the new video boards and whatnot in the outfields. But definitely, if you want food, the South Side at
Yeah.
Guaranteed Rate is the way to go. Yeah,
Yeah. And not too many people realize that there's folks that haven't been out there in about 20 years, 25 years, maybe even 15. And they're like, I hate that ballpark. It sucks. It's in a terrible neighborhood, but you get some also Cuban sandwiches, some also meatball sandwiches, Chicago dogs. I mean, I think their regular hot dogs can be improved a little bit, but
sure.
you got all sorts of stuff out there to enjoy. They had like a horseshoe sandwich at one time, a horseshoe platter, which they made into a sandwich, which is a regional food from Springfield. Yeah, I was just blown away by the food there. And, me, I'm more of a White Sox guy than a Cubs guy. So I find it a little bit easier to get to. The parking neighborhood is not as bad as people say it is, but you're there for the game, you tailgate. There are some spots you can go to after. But yeah, you can't compare it to Wrigleyville, where I mean, everything is in front of you, like, bars and clubs, and there's some good New York style pizza near Wrigley Field. So I get it. It's just a pain in the ass to get to. If you're driving up from a place like Indianapolis, like I will not drive into Wrigleyville for a game. I would find a place to park and take the L or take mass transit. But uh, I guess that's the only thing with me. I'm just trying to find like the best route to take. So like when you go to a Wrigley Field game, how do you get there transportation wise?
I usually drive.
Okay, so you drive.
They've done a good job for nights and weekends. They've got an area where you can park,
Mhm.
and they shuttle you for free on like old school buses, the big yellow school
Oh,
buses.
really? Okay.
Which is a little cramped as you get older, but it's only like a 15-minute ride, and free parking that way isn't too bad.
So it's free parking and they shuttle you.
Yeah, only
Wow.
for night and weekend games, and I think you get up to like an hour after the game ends.
Nice.
So definitely if you want to, like I said, hit a bar or something afterwards, you might want to just find somewhere to park on the street or a lot or somewhere. But
Okay, I didn't know that. So that's like one of these little secrets I didn't know about. What is there a lot that they call this, or is it you just have to know the place?
yeah, they've got it on the website.
Okay.
But yeah, it's the Rockwell shuttle. It's moved a few different places over the years. It used to be down Addison near DeVry, and now it's
Okay.
up on Irving Park.
Okay. Well, yeah. Cause yeah, that's the thing with me. It's like I want to get out there, but it's like, do I park my car in East Chicago and take the train in, or do I park someplace a little bit closer? That's, but with like White Sox, you just go there, you park for $25. There you go. You walk around, or, they have a shuttle from a few of the local businesses as well. If you get there early enough, I guess to me, Wrigleyville just intimidates me to drive into during a game day. And maybe I shouldn't just let that happen to me. I should just take it upon myself to get there. But you are from Chicago. You do frequent some of these Chicago venues. Uh, what other venues would you recommend people go in? Like some of the minor league ballparks. There's a bunch of them out there. Which ones would you say, hey, this is if you can't get to a Cubs game or a Sox, and if you have some extra time, check out this minor league venue or check out this arena because it's pretty special and you shouldn't leave Chicago without seeing it.
Sure. So yeah, if you're out, come out a little bit more in the burbs like me. Um, the Chicago Dogs has been a big hit for me the last few years since they've became a thing. Independent league ball, but they're right by the airport here. It's fun. Being that it's newer, they were able to build with a little bit of space. So you got room in the concourse to walk around or the outfield. They have small little bands play sometimes on a Friday before the game, and sit there. You can watch cars and trucks go down the highway out
Mm-hmm.
behind the one, in the outfield, and then you see planes taking off and landing overhead. And for someone like me who not necessarily ADD, but likes seeing different things in
Yeah,
between
no, I
pitches
get
and
it. I
whatnot,
get it.
it keeps me from always just pulling out the phone. But yeah, it's been great. We had the Kane County Cougars, which is a little further out in Geneva. I grew up going to those, which are good. But I've converted a few people, with the Dogs being a little bit closer. Parking was like $3,
I
which is
know. Yeah, they do a nice job
hard
with
as
the
that.
with the parking there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Um, go
yeah,
ahead.
and I know when I go to a Chicago Dogs game, when they introduce the mascots, it's a ketchup bottle and a mustard bottle, and like the ketchup bottle is dressed in this trench coat with evil eyes. But my goodness, all the kids run to these mascots. Like they're regarded as like heroes at the games. So that's a lot of fun to see. And it is a very nice ballpark, very sleek, very modern. It has features that they incorporated, I think, the parking deck as like the back wall right outside the concourse. And yeah, very easy to get to. You have some shopping area on the other side of the interstate. You're not far from Gene and Jude's, which is a great hot dog spot. You get the depression dog. Yeah, Gene and Jude's. Like it's like I told my brother-in-law when we went up there, I said, man, we got to stop at Gene and Jude's. It's like the like I'm never up in Rosemont that much, so let's go hit it up. So it's yeah, it's a fun place. You kind of like to see, those alternatives because, sometimes you just don't feel like driving down to a Cubs game. And I know a buddy of mine went to a Dogs game when they had like a Mike Ditka bobblehead night. And he lives down in
Yeah.
downtown. And he's like, yeah, only reason why I'm up in Rosemont, like he just shuns the suburbs of Chicago. He just like, there's no reason for me to be up there. But Mike Ditka bobblehead, yeah, I'm going to get that. So they do a nice way of pulling folks in. But getting back to Chicago, you're not a huge Chicago fan. You're more of an Indiana Pacers, Indianapolis Colts fan. So how did that happen? And was it tough growing up in Chicagoland feeling that way? Or was it?
Yeah, so it started just as a kid. I think my dad just found some cheap tickets, and gas wasn't $4 a gallon, and
Yeah, right.
so he took me and my older brother down to Indianapolis. Again, I don't really know why, but we went to a Colts game, and that was my first, at least, professional football game. Might even been, any game. So
Nice.
As a youngin, I was just like, yeah, go everything Indiana. So that's pretty much how that came to be. Didn't get to watch many Colts or Pacers games growing up, and especially basketball wise. I love my Reggie Miller, but he got overshadowed by Michael Jordan.
Everybody did, yeah.
Understandable, but we had a few wins against them, especially the Reggie push-off game. But
yeah, that
yeah, no,
'98 series was yeah, probably could have went to the Pacers very easily, and it just didn't happen. But
yeah, but yeah, no, I mean, growing up here, it's I've got no problem rooting for those guys as long as we're not playing the Indiana teams.
Now, is there any Chicago teams you pull for? I mean, do you have allegiance? It sounds like you're more allegiant to the Cubs and the White Sox, or do you wish success on both of them?
Again, if they're playing, I'll go Cubs.
Mm-hmm.
But anything that brings happiness and positivity and some wins around here, everything's always better when people are winning. So
yeah, that's what my wife says. She's like I'm more of a White Sox guy than a Cubs guy. And I remember when they won the World Series, her sister brought us a bunch of like Chicago Cubs championship merchandise and hats and shirts, and it was nice of her. And she was excited that they won. And she also has like a White Sox championship cap too from when they won. And I guess both my wife and her sister, their attitude is like, hey, Chicago won the championship. I'm going to root for them. We don't have that allegiance, but I don't think too many people agree with her who are diehards. They're like, no way. Screw the Cubs, screw the White Sox. So, all right. So baseball, obviously you're a Colts Pacer fan. We don't have a professional baseball team. So you must root for who? Who's your baseball team?
The number one is the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Of course it is. Now, how did that happen? World Series of 01?
It was just before that.
Okay.
But yeah, so like I said, as a youngin, being like, hey, there's no baseball team.
Yeah.
I've got an older brother who again, grew up liking the Cubs too, but for some reason likes some out of state teams. So being a little brother, you kind of follow your brother's footsteps.
Okay,
so
I can see that.
I had to find some kind of out of state team for me. And it was honestly just watching Sports Center in the basement one day, and I'm like, how about them? I'll just follow these guys.
And that's how easy it was. I'm just going to follow this team, and
yeah,
here we are.
I was a little kid. I didn't know better.
Yeah.
But yeah, a couple years later, they won the World Series. So that made it a little bit easier. Hasn't been too great since, but yeah, it's kind. There's a little bit of fun rooting for a team that's not in your area. A little bit easier now that they're in the different sports where you can buy the packages to watch out of market teams and stuff. But it's a little something fun being the only person in an area that's interested in something. A little lonely at times, but
yeah, it's like your thing. It's it's like me growing up I was a fan of all the the New York teams, Jets, Mets, Knicks, and Devils. Well, the New Jersey team, but I like the Hamilton Tiger Cats of the Canadian Football League. Nobody gave a crap about the CFL or even knew what the heck it was. Maybe they happened to see it on ESPN every now and then for the Grey Cup. But yeah, you're right. It was nice kind of rooting for this team and keeping track. And this is back in the day before the internet was big, and you would look at the newspapers, you would write letters to the team to send away for media guides and programs. So you had to do a lot of work, being a fan of a team and now it's different because you can find stuff online and you can watch games online, you can buy packages. But yeah, you're right. Just being a fan of a team that was nowhere near you, out of your market, was a little difficult. And I'm still am a Tiger Cats fan. I got mad that they lost the Grey Cup last year in overtime to Winnipeg, and it's like, and I felt the pain. I was like, man, I'm still with this team. I haven't forgotten about them. And as a Met fan, I felt the pain on Sunday night when they were one hit by Joe Musgrave, and I'm like, so we're not going to do anything. We're not going to hit the ball. We're not going to score a run. We're just going to go out quietly, like with a whimper. That's how we're going to end the season. And then the flood.
Either that or we want to blow a big lead like Toronto did.
You know what? I don't hear anybody talking about that. Maybe because, I'm not following Toronto people or not in the market. But yeah, Toronto had a 7-run lead against the Mariners.
Something like that, yeah.
And they blew it. I mean, I don't know what's worse. Getting one hit in the final game or losing a 7-run lead.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is bad. That is pretty bad. So like a lot of people are weighing in about, like, is this the worst collapse in New York sports history or the most disappointing? And people are bringing up the 2001 World Series. Mariano Rivera gives up the game-winning hit and to Arizona. They're bringing up the 2004 playoffs when the Yankees had a 3-0 lead. People are bringing up the 1990 Knicks when, they had a 2-0 lead against the Bulls and they couldn't hold that, or they got into that huge fight with the Miami Heat and blew that series. So yeah, with the Mets losing, it's getting a lot of people talking and everybody's pointing the finger and they're upset and they're complaining. And I said, guys, you sound like a bunch of Cubs fans. Move on. Be a White Sox fan. Say, you know what? We had players blow a World Series to gamblers. We moved on. We're not bitching about it. Cubs fans are still complaining about a goat and a black cat. Well, not anymore because they won a few years ago, but for the longest time, that's all you heard. We're cursed. Move on. It wasn't our year, So
yeah,
that's all I can say to my fellow Met fans who are listening. And I don't know when this podcast is coming up, but I'm sure they're going to still be complaining because Jacob deGrom's not coming back. He doesn't sound like he wants to come back. And we got to go get Aaron Judge, or we got to go get Ohtani in a couple years. It's like, calm down, guys. Let's just be happy we made the playoffs. I'd rather make the playoffs and lose than finish with 77 wins, Like White Sox fans are not happy that they won 81 games this year. They're ticked off. They want La Russa's head. He stepped down. Hopefully good things will come to the South Side because that's another fan base that is very passionate, dedicated, but they move on. They just don't dwell on things. They don't sit there and complain. Like you never hear about the 67 team that also blew a pennant lead, lost the last 5 games of the season to mediocre teams. They just move on. It's like, yeah, it wasn't our year. So hopefully that's the case. Scooby, your real name is not that. It's Mike. How did you get Scooby McKay as your handle? And do friends call you Scooby?
Yeah. A lot of people are named Mike, and I like Scooby too. So
okay.
Yeah, it started with just some closer friends just started going off of that, and like I said, you go in a room, hey Mike, you have 4 people turn around, but if you have someone says, hey Scooby, everyone turns to look at that person, but
everybody looks at
who you're talking to.
Yeah. Everybody looks at you. I get that. I never had a nickname. It was only Mark. And a lot of people would call me Mike because I guess Mark and Mike sound alike. And it's Mark, but I spell it with the C, they would spell it with the K. But yeah, things like that. So, okay. As we kind of wrap up this conversation, any ballparks or stadiums you'd like to get to one day? You know, what's your experience, you know, checking out stadiums? Is that something you do for fun, or is it something you do when you get the chance?
Little of both. You know, COVID kind of put a pause on a
Yeah,
lot of
no,
that,
it
but
did.
um, yeah, no, I at least would try to get somewhere new at least once a summer, or you know, I like driving, so even if I could
Yeah.
get somewhere new, I'd at least try to hit the road to Cincinnati if I hadn't been there in a few years, or you know, somewhere relatively nearby. Um, I think I've hit about half of them,
Okay.
half the MLB parks.
What are your
Um,
favorites?
Definitely Wrigley.
Hmm.
Pittsburgh's pretty cool.
Definitely.
Except for there's nobody ever there, which is good if you want a
Yeah.
good seat for cheap.
Oh yeah. Well, once they start winning,
Yeah,
everybody will be there. Yeah, PNC is usually makes the list. It makes the list of fans, experts, players, and I just think it's like almost the perfect ballpark. It's the right size. It's got great food. It's got nice ticket pricing. Probably the best view in all of baseball. That
yeah,
could be debated. I know some people disagree. Like I like San Francisco Oracle a lot, but parking is a pain in the butt there because you don't
yeah.
have the mass transit out there. You when we went there, my wife and I, this is almost 10 years ago. I think it was like $25 to park for an hour. It was something outrageous. Now we found a free spot on the street, but you know, but that's a great ballpark as well. And when that team is winning, like everybody comes out and just goes crazy. So yeah, I love going to new ballparks too. I had a couple friends go out to City Field and Yankee Stadium this year, and I told them you're going to like City Field better than Yankee. They disagreed, and they said, "Yeah, City Field was quite nice." They said Yankee Stadium felt more like a museum than anything. I said, "Well, you know, there's a lot to celebrate with the New York Yankee franchise, so I get it." But any planned trips that you had this year that you went to knock off your stadium bug travel?
No, life got a little
Yeah,
bit in the middle of that one. I got engaged actually in July,
nice.
uh, and she loves baseball and all that,
That's
but
better. That's great.
that'll probably be a little easier to do next summer. So, um, but we did that last summer coming back from a vacation with her family. We stopped at Pittsburgh. She had never been. I'd been there
Yeah.
years back. So yeah, this year just didn't really pan out. But you know, we're thinking maybe Seattle.
Oh,
Um, I've got a couple friends out there,
nice.
and haven't seen them in a while, and haven't crossed that off yet. So that would be
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, just being Seattle is gorgeous, even if you don't see baseball. But yeah, if you get out to Seattle, yeah, definitely take some pictures. We love looking at the Whitecap Mountains out there. And you know, if you happen to get out there and see a soccer game, I don't know if you're a fan of soccer, but I hear Sounder games are
Oh yeah.
intense and packed. And then of course you got the Dub C Fish Sticks. I'm sure you're familiar with that club. It's a summer collegiate team with some really cool wacky logos. So anyway, best of luck. That sounds like a lot of fun. See, my wife's not a big baseball fan, so it's you know, hey, let's go to a baseball game. She's like, really? Do we have to? You know, but if she goes there with like
Well,
another,
that's why
what's that?
you got the minor. That's why you got the minor leagues. You know, to do the wacky, entertaining
Yeah.
stuff to
Oh
her
yeah,
involved.
yeah. No, I know the Savannah Bananas are coming up here to play in Indianapolis in June 30th. So if I can get her a ticket and she can be entertained with all the on-field antics, she may like it. And it's only going to be 2 hours of baseball. So
Right.
give her a couple wine slushies, a couple glasses of wine. I think she'll be fine. I think she'll enjoy that. So yeah,
Yeah.
she's just, you know, like with me, when I go on a trip, it's like 8 ballparks in 6 days. Like I want to crush everything in. I want to drive 4 hours just to see a ballpark and then leave town after the game and drive another 2 hours.
Right.
I'm getting to the age where it's like, okay, we got to stop doing this. Like, let's just take it easy, enjoy the town. There's a lot of other things to see here, but you know, but when I go on a trip with her, we definitely have to do things she likes because then she gets mad at me and into a fight. So when you travel, I know she likes baseball. Make sure you do something she likes.
For sure.
Happy house, happy wife is a happy house. So nice. So when do you get married? When's the wedding date?
Actually, end of this month.
Okay, nice. And
So,
is she planning everything? Are you helping out? Or are you just saying yes, honey?
uh, she's doing most of it.
Yeah, that's
So
how it
trying to
goes.
trying to help and trying to remind her that whatever she wants, it's her day.
Yes, whatever she wants. It's your day. You've been planning this since you're 9. Yeah,
Right.
my wife wanted some kind of laser display of her names that was like $300. I'm like, do we really need that? Can we just write this on a piece of paper? But and then a photo booth. She wanted a photo booth, which wasn't that popular at the time. Now I see photo booths at all weddings. So
Sure.
we I said, okay, it's your day. We'll do it. Let's have it. So all right. Well, hey, thank you for coming on, Scoob. Where can we find you on Twitter if we want to follow you or have great discussions of baseball?
Yeah, at Scooby McKay. It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's talk baseball, some foods, or just random life fun.
Yeah, random life fun. Talk about some good Chicago food and a little Arizona D-backs, and what are the best spots to get a pizza puff in Chicago. I think Scoob's your
Yeah,
man. So,
I'll
all right,
do my best.
all right. Thanks for coming on. Have a great day, and we'll catch you on Twitter.
All right, thanks, man.
Take care. All right, that was Scooby McKay. Scooby McKay. That sounds like a good radio name. Scooby McKay here with WISU Sports. The Indiana State Sycamores are taking on the Illinois State Cardinals today at 1 p.m. The winner is the champion of the Gateway Football Conference. Both teams are sitting at 6-1 on the regular season. Check it out with Scooby McKay. Okay, never mind. Okay, so that was just a fan. That's just a guy I follow on Twitter. He follows me. He likes baseball. He likes food. Probably could have talked a little more about Chicago food. But kind of like to mix things up. And I think he's right. Tavern pizza is something you should try when you come to Chicago. Any bar, any tavern, any pizza place that makes a deep dish also serves tavern style pizza. And it's good. It's it's not so much a cracker crust compared to St. Louis, but it's a nice thin crust. And like I said, my wife likes it. She likes Beggar's Pizza. Beggar's Pizza is the official pizza of the Chicago White Sox. They have a couple places there at Guarantee Rate Field that you can try. You can watch it right here. Look at all those happy people eating that tasty Beggar's Pizza. In a world where all pizza is tavern style, one stands out, and that's Beggar's Pizza. But no, actually, Beggar's Pizza, there's some other good ones too. So, and the Italian beef, I love the Italian beef. I love the breaded steak sandwich that's dipped in tomato sauce and served with giardiniera and mozzarella. The pizza puffs, the chicken wings and fries covered with that sweet, tangy, mild sauce. Oh, Chicago's got some good stuff up there. They got some tasty treats, and you need to go up there and try them. Try them soon. Other minor league ballparks up in the Chicagoland area include the Windy City Thunderbolts, the Schaumburg Boomers. They have free parking. Chicago Dogs as well. You have the King County Cougars. Just outside Chicago, you have the Gary Railcats. Then you have a couple summer collegiate clubs a little bit further from the Chicago epicenter of Chicago, Lake County Corn Dogs and the Northwest Indiana Oilmen. I know there's a couple other summer collegiate teams, but those are two organizations that do a nice job with the game day presentation. I mean, I probably wouldn't tell you to go to those other ones because they're just there playing baseball and that's it. And I'm trying to think, anybody else in the Chicagoland area that has a team still? I'm probably forgetting one. Oh, the Joliet Slammers. That's a nice little ballpark too. Great food there too. They have the Giardiniera taco nachos with Italian beef, cheese, and Giardiniera peppers. Oh, that was so good too. So, yeah, food, baseball, you can't go wrong. You cannot go wrong with these podcasts. So, anyway, guys, thank you for listening. I appreciate you coming on here to check me out. Thank you, Scoop, for coming on here. That was something that we arranged just recently. I'm like, hey, can you come out tomorrow? I mean, the guy was on his lunch break. That was awesome to hear. So Thank you. Thank you for coming on. Follow me, share your pictures and photos and videos. We'd love to see what you guys are checking out. Best of luck to you and the wife on your wedding. Hope you get out to Seattle. Seattle's a gorgeous city. Anybody who goes out there loves it. My buddy Andrew Hawkins went out there for a job, thought he would come back, met this lovely little lady, and now it's its wife. So he's not coming back. He's not coming back to the Hoosier state unless he's visiting family. So I get it. Good for him. So thank you guys for listening. You can check me out on Stadium Journey, the industry's leader in sports reviews. We cover everything from the National Football League to Indiana high school basketball venues. So we have it all. And if we don't, let us know. We'll try to get out there. Or better yet, maybe join the crew. We always can use some more contributors to the website. You can also follow me on YouTube at Ballpark Hunter. I have new reviews every Monday. I have reviews on Thursday. I cover everything from baseball, football, hockey, basketball arenas, to regional foods. I have a video of me at Buc-ee's, eating at like 3 different Buc-ee's in Texas. Like God forbid I just stop at one Buc-ee's and fill myself up. I'm going to different Buc-ee's from Katy, Texas, all the way out towards, I forget where the other one was. I think they're all in the Houston area, but, one was in Katy, where a friend of mine from college, Pam, lives. She said, "Oh, if you're still in Katy, stop over for lunch." I'm like, "Really? I haven't seen you in 20 years. I'm just going to stop over your house for lunch." But that's what friends do. They invite you to come over for lunch out of the blue. So Thank you. Thank you for that offer. I wish I do. That would have been fun. That would have been fun hanging out with you and the family. So anyway, guys, thank you for listening. I hope you enjoy it. Please comment. If you're listening on the Apple podcast, make some comments. I only have like 7 people who've commented. I think 3 of them are from me. One's from my wife and one's from my mother-in-law. And one's from Phil Caputo or Paul Caputo. One's from Mr. Caputo. He's got a nice podcast out right now. He's talking with Todd Radom. I hope I said that right. From he designs logos. Guy's been doing it for years in Brooklyn Cyclones. So talking about the Brooklyn Cyclones. So check out him. Check out Ed Rivera. He's the Dad Hat Chronicle guy, and he's got a cool video as well with all his hats, and he's got great podcasts, and he's reaching out beyond baseball. And I'm kind of doing that as well because let's face it, there's a lot to talk about in the world of sports. We can always tie it back into the national pastime. And check out Anna. She's got the Buckethead website, and that's a fun little site to talk to. She does really great interviews. She's just able to really get those great questions and answers out from people. So a lot of great content to listen to. We know you have a choice. So thank you for making us number 1 in the Valley. This is Mark Viquez, the Ballpark Hunter, on Power 106.9.